because I know that many of you have had long association with Paramacharya. I was the least likely to be his devotee. I was brought up in North India, in Delhi. I went to school and college there. I went to a convent school. Then I spent almost 8 years in America at Harvard University. And by the time I came back to India, I was almost 30 years. So with absolutely no contact whatsoever, I had not even heard his name till 1968. It was a chance meeting. The students of the university who were in my class had invited me to the dormitory. And one of them was an Indian. And he asked me whether I would come to his room before going to the function. So I went to his room. On the television was a photograph where I saw a beaming face, and I said, "Who is he?" He said, "He's the Shankaracharya of Kanchi." But nothing more happened, but that image etched in my mind for some reason. And the next time I saw Paramacharya's vision, I can say, his picture, was when I was coming in during the emergency from the United States to make a daring entry into Parliament and then disappear again if I could. And at that time I was a proclaimed offender. My name had been sent to the Interpol on a watch-out notice. There was a reward on my head. It was the highest reward of that time, more than any of the criminals. And the plane was coming to Delhi. And my plan was, which everybody thought was mad, was that without luggage, I will just get down and walk through the airport as if I was a visitor in the airport. Of course, I was dressed in kurta pajama, looked like a youth congress ruffian. And I got down. Just as the plane was about to land, I again saw Paramacharya's photo. And I walked in. It's unbelievable that such things can happen, but I just walked in. I walked into the immigration. The policeman was sitting there, the immigration officer looking there. I had my parliament pass with me. I just put it out. And they assumed I must be a congressman, so they all saluted me. And I took a taxi and went and registered in a hotel. After that, of course, after a few days, I went into Parliament and again disappeared and went back to the United States. But I made one resolve, that I must one day go and see him as soon as the emergency is over. I had no idea emergency would get over so soon. But I made a decision. So when in 1977 the Janata had come to power, the Tamil Nadu elections to the assembly took place after the parliament election. So I was on a tour and I was passing through near Kanchipuram and I saw a hut and lots of cars and people. So I asked my party people, what is going on here? He said, no, the Paramacharya is sitting here. He's not in his mutt, but he's in this hut. So I said, oh, then let me go and see him. So I went there and he was sitting there, a lot of people were there. There was a well also between us and him. And I went and stood there and peeped there. He saw me, he suddenly got up, turned his back, went inside the hut and shut the door. So I said, obviously he doesn't like me. So let us go. So I moved on to go back to the car. Just as I reached the car, one of his people came running and said, Periva Kupudrar. So I went back and he asked me in Tamil, உனக்கு யார் அதிகாரம் கொடுத்தா போறதுக்கு? So I told him, that time my Tamil was much worse than it is today. I told him, நீங்க உள்ள போயிட்டு கதவு மூடிட்டு பிடிக்காத நினைச்சு நான் கிளம்பிட்டேன். He said, no, அப்படி இல்லை, இது பார்க்கறது, இது தேடுறதுக்காக போனேன். He took a paper cutting. It was from a magazine called Dinamani Kadir. It was in Tamil. He said, can you Tamil padikka theriyuma? I said, yeah, I can enough. So I read it. There was a photograph of me and there was a question, Subramanian Swami Tamilanar. So he's given a reply, the editor, that Ama Sholavandan Node Ninvandar. So he asked me, Nidane Adu? I said, Ipo Pala. So I went away. Then after a month, almost the campaign was finishing, I was again passed by. And he was in the same place. So I said, let me go and see him again. This time when I came, he asked everybody to leave. And then he started talking. He spoke about political events, international events. And he spoke to me for 1.5 hours. And he said so many things, you see. He said, will you be a minister? Because I had not become a minister and I was very unhappy I was not a minister. I was the leading campaigner against the emergency and the Janata government because of personal animosities of some people. I was blocked from becoming a minister. So I obviously it was on my mind, but he read my mind. He said, did you minister idea? I said, no. Padavi pinnala varum. Nee padavi pinnala odada, padavi pinnala varum. And I followed that after that. And I'm telling you, that's why in politics I give everybody tension, but I have no tension. Among the things he spoke to me about is, அரசியல்ல எண்ணத்தை மாத்தணும், பதவி இல்லை. So I looked puzzled. Then he said, E.V. Ramaswamy Nayakar பேர் கேட்டிருக்கியா? I said, yes. நல்ல ஆள் இல்லைன்னு. இல்லை, தனியா எல்லாரோட மூலையும் மாத்திட்டார் அவர், எண்ணத்தை மாத்திட்டார். அப்படிதான் அரசியல்வாதி இருக்கணும். தனியா சுத்தி சுற்றப்பயணம் பண்ணி அவர் எல்லாரோட எண்ணத்தையும் மாத்திட்டார். I said, but இந்த கோயிலெல்லாம் இடிக்கிறது, இந்த இதெல்லாம் பண்றதுன்னு, ஈரோடுல ஒரு கோயில் இருக்கு தெரியுமா கேட்டார். அது அவரோட அப்பாவோட கோயில். அந்த கோயிலுக்கு வருஷம் வருஷம் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பிரைஸ் கிடைக்கும் தெரியுமா? எனக்கு தெரியாது. அதை மேனேஜ் பண்றது இதே E.V. ராமசாமி நாயக்கர். புரியல, சரியா? புரியும் மெதுவா. ஆனா இதுதான் பண்ணணும். எந்த பொறுப்பு கிடைக்கிறதோ அவ அப்பா அவருக்கு அந்த பொறுப்பு கொடுத்தார். அந்த பொறுப்பை அவர் நியாயமா பண்ணி, அந்த கோயில் வேற இடத்துல எல்லாம் கோயில எதிராக பேசுவார். ஆனா அங்க அவர் அதை பார்த்து அழகா வச்சு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பிரைஸ் வருஷம் வருஷம் வாங்கினார். So here is I began to feel that here is a person who is not just an ordinary sadhu, he is some kind of, he's a seer who can see very far ahead. And he has such a broad mind. Then he started asking me, உனக்கு எந்த நாட்டு பிடிக்கும்னு. So I said, I could understand, and he explained. And I said, எனக்கு இன்ட்ரோடக்ஷன் அமெரிக்கா தான் இருக்கு. அமெரிக்கா இல்லை, உனக்கு இஸ்ரேல் அண்ட் சைனா, இந்த ரெண்டு நாட்டோட நம்மளோட அவ நண்பரா இருந்தால் நாட்டுக்கு பாதுகாப்பு இருக்கும். அமெரிக்கா சரி, ஆனா இந்த ரெண்டு நாட்டு தான். Now those days China was I mean, we didn't even have diplomatic relations with them. And Israel, nobody wanted to take the name of Israel. So China was easy because I had studied China, I knew Chinese. So I went to speak to Morarji. And Morarji was the most anti-Chinese of all